Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence.com. I'm Mike and this is Taccia Aka. Aka is a little red ink. It is a bright red ink, as you can see here. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like there's a goldfish going on here. I don't know what Aka means. But this was part of the Taccia line, and I hadn't had a chance to try this one out. And so Lisa Vanness hooked me up with this bottle at a pen show, like, I don't know, a while ago. I think Brad Dowdy was trying to decide what kind of red to get. And he was like, I don't know, have you used this one? And I was like, no. So she just gave us bottles. I don't think it was really for review, but like, whatever, I'm gonna anyway. So this is a 40 ml bottle. Here, let me get the bottle out of the box here. And these go for 12 bucks. I think Taccia ink is actually really well priced. This is the bottle. It's a pretty cute bottle. Can be a little bit on the difficult side to fill a pen from because it's kind of shallow and wide. So if you have a very long nib, you might have an issue. As you can see, I've actually used a fair amount of this ink. I had this in a Faber-Castell Ondoro. This one, actually. It has a medium nib, I think. Yeah, it had a medium nib. And I kept having it dry out on me. Ondoros don't have a great cap seal, and if you don't use them regularly, they tend to dry out a little bit. And so this was always a little bit of a frustration. I filled it up a bunch of times. I've been using it here since like March. So I put it in a different pen, and that's this one. This is a franklin-christoph Model 20, and it has a broad stub on it. See a little bit of the ink there on the nib. Just sort of beat it up. It does that sometimes. And see a little bit on my hands or whatever. This ink, I will tell you, is probably going to have some staying power. If you can see this pink splotch right here, I was cleaning out this this orange pen, this Ondoro, like 2 days ago. I've taken like 2 showers since then. I've washed my hands a zillion times. I've done yard work. Still a pink swatch here. So sometimes red ink, man, it sticks around. But that said, it didn't seem to have stained the converter or anything like that, so I'm not really that worried about it. It just kind of sticks on your skin pretty good. This is what it looks like on some paper. And this is a nice bright red. It's it leans a little bit maybe to the pink side of red, I suppose. But man, deep, bright, beautiful red. I really like this a lot. And you can see here just a little bit of sheen. You get a little bit of sheen from on the letters too. Not much. You don't get a ton of sheen here, but you definitely get some. It's going to depend heavily on your paper and nib choice, of course. This pen, this broad stub, is not super wet or anything. This ink is a little bit on the wet side. I haven't had any problems with flow, at least not when it wasn't dried up or whatever. And it did dry up a little bit in my Ondoro. It just kind of happens. But you get really nice flow here, as I say. But you do have a minor bleeding issue. So let's look at it on the 20-pound paper right quick. There it is. You get a little bit, as you can see, a little bit of feathering here and there. This is a broad stub, and so it's going to be a little bit bigger, and it's going to put down more ink than like a fine or whatever. But even with this like fairly narrow medium that I had on here, I would get some like feathering and spread and that sort of thing. And then on the back, you get a fair amount of bleed through. Like it bled through kind of a lot. And that was a thing I had kind of constantly with this ink. Even on pretty good papers like this one right here. This is, of course, Rhodia 80 GM squared. And you can see some of the letters came through a little bit. This swatch actually bled through enough to bleed onto a line of the next page. And a little bit through that one. So maybe I put down a little too much ink or whatever, but not too many inks go through Rhodia. Although, interestingly, it does seem like it went through the most where the line was printed, so I don't know, maybe there's an irregularity in the paper or something, but you still get like a few spots coming through here. So pretty good, except where I put down a bunch of ink, and there it bled through, which is, again, unusual. So, yeah, this one's got a little bit of a bleeding issue, which is unfortunate. If you keep this on like Tomoe River or something like that, I don't think we're going to see any problems there. I'm actually going to do a live writing sample of it on the Tomoe River because I forgot to write it on my ink journal. I don't know how, but I did. So let's go ahead and take a look at it on a couple of other papers, and then we'll look at we'll do a water test, and we'll look at writing samples or whatever. So here we go. This is the Ondoro. This is the medium. This is, of course, the Inky Fingers Currently Inked notebook, which I use all the time. This is wheat straw paper. And here, no problems actually from this this ink. It was really nice. You get a little bit of sheen there. A little bit of sheen in the letters, no feathering or spreading. The back of the page looks totally fine. So while it came through the Rhodia, it didn't come through the wheat straw paper, which I think is really kind of interesting. And then here's the one with the Franklin-Christoph Model 20 with that broad stub. And I actually just did this one. I apparently didn't write it down when I inked it up, which is weird, but it happens sometimes. And you get a little bit of sheen there. It looks really nice. Felt good on this paper. No problems with it coming through the back. So oddly enough, went through Rhodia, doesn't go through wheat straw. So wheat straw paper, good stuff. Ink journal. This is my Tomoe River one. Let me see if I can find the original here. Where is it at? Maybe I didn't write it down at all. Ah, there it is. There's the first one. So this is from the Faber-Castell Ondoro, and you can see it's got a really nice... This color is beautiful, and if you use it on good paper, and this is usually good, but I don't know, man. When you use it on really good paper, this ink just pops. It is real bright, and no problems on the back. Like, it shows through and goes through whatever, but it's Tomoe River. It's wicked thin. Let's go ahead and draw the ink sample, or the writing sample thing here. With the Franklin-Christoph, if I can get my words out today. Here it is. All right. So I'll draw our box. I'm tracing here. There. Action here. All right. Yep. Yeah, good enough. All right, so this is a FC 20 with a broad stub. The color is jade. Man, that got real wonky, didn't it? Well, what are you gonna do? This is Taccia Aka. Let's go ahead and give it a nice little bit there. I really like the feel of this ink. It's nice stuff. July 2019. I'm sure I inked it up this month, but I don't really remember when. And it's going to take a minute to dry because, of course, this is Tomoe River, which you can see it's sort of shining on the page there. That's honestly one of my favorite things about writing with fountain pens and gel pens and things like that, is I like to kind of lean close and I like to watch the shine of that ink as you put it on the page. Audrey thinks I'm a little bit crazy for that. She once saw me like, I don't know, I have my face like real close to the paper. She's like, "You okay? Like, are you going blind?" I'm like, "No, oh no, what'd I do?" I was like, no, I just really like to... Whew, didn't smear. I just really like to watch the ink. So you actually see it developing the sheen there. It's going to be cool. All right, let's look back at that in a sec. All right, so water drop test time. All right, let's put some water on the subject. Get a little bit on the words too, because why not? Get a little shimmy. Make a nice mess. All right, let's go ahead and blot this up. Blotty blot blot blot. Look at that. That is some color right there, isn't it? Man, that's the hottest pink. Let's get a little more here. Yeah, as I suspected, enough of it stuck around that it's totally legible, I think. The water test is legible. All the lines and dots are legible. And yeah, it makes a little bit of a mess, but not a big deal. Didn't really come through the back, just where I was, writing dots and stuff. So the water didn't go through, but the ink did. I don't know. It just doesn't like Rhodia, I guess. But looks nice. Here is the chromatography. Bam! Look at that. Super bright pink here. That's that hot pink we saw come up on the on our what do you call it? Kleenex. Then up here at the top, just this like brilliant carmine up here. Man, what a pretty ink. This is like my favorite shade of red, I think, which is just like a super bright red. I've got a bunch of samples over here, so let's look at different inks alongside Taccia Aka. There we go. This is on, of course, a Colodex card. You can see the sheen on there. It sheens pretty heavily. I got my original sample from Anderson Pens in 2018. Started using this bottle from Vanness a little bit later. So here are, I don't know, let's get some near close and some close ones. This is Robert Oster's Fire Engine Red, which I think is a more pure red, and you don't get as much sheen, although there is a tiny bit of sheen on this ink as well. Funny story about Robert Oster's Fire Engine Red. I actually burned through that sample so fast that I didn't even have time to review it. Like, I loved Fire Engine Red. I probably ought to just get a bottle if I find it. But it is dope. All right, here is Kobe's number 20, which is definitely pinker. It's a lighter ink, it's more pink. Got this from my friend Denise. You can see a little bit of sheen in that one too. It turns out all the ones I have in this color range are kind of sheeny too, which is pretty crazy, right? Here is Diamine's Wild Strawberry, which is an early favorite of mine. I got this in, this is from an ink drop way back in 2012 is when I got this sample. And this is a great ink right here. We also got Schaefer Script. Sorry, folks, camera battery died. So this is Schaefer Script Red, which I think is a gorgeous red. One of my favorite pure reds, and you can see here that why I say this one leans a little bit like to the pinkish side of red. Pinkish, maybe even slightly orangey, maybe, but more pink for sure than Schaefer Script Red, which is just pure, straight up red. All right. Then here is Ackerman 21, which is Chinatown Red. I don't remember if I've ever actually used this one, but it is gorgeous and definitely red in the same way as Taccia Aka Red. Way more expensive though, so you got that going. Then here are two that are almost the same. This is Sailor Kingdom Note Nippon Crested Ibis, which I got as a I don't know, I got a sample from somebody in the pen club. I forget who, maybe Tom Bailey. But this is a beautiful red. And then Sailor Aurora, which is really my favorite red overall. This is from the newest Four Seasons line, I suppose, from Sailor. You can still definitely get this one. Screaming red, leans a little bit pink, has a crazy sheen. Slightly lighter, actually, than Taccia Aka, but doesn't have the bleeding issues. So of the two, I'd say Aurora is probably my favorite, but this one is a real nice red, so definitely check that out. All right, so thank you very much to the vendors who hooked me up with Taccia Aka samples for review, and I will see y'all later. Peace out.